Okay, hi.
Hello.
Erin is back, y'all.
So happy to be here.
Thank you for joining us.
You are welcome.
Caroline is recovering from a show well done.
Very well done.
So we've got Erin in the studio, as it were. Okay, so I am doing today's story, but before we get there, I'm glad that I have you here this week because we need to print a correction.
Oh, okay.
I found out totally by happenstance, not from somebody who had listened to the podcast, but it came up in conversation that famously Argentina does in fact have penguins.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, it's like a thing. They migrate there for like a chunk of the year.
Interesting. I think in my head I thought that was like Chile, or maybe they go there too. I don't know.
Maybe I didn't actually research it. I just found out that Argentina has them.
I mean, there are like surprise penguins in a number of places, and that just makes me really happy.
And that's not even counting puffins.
Love a puffin. Oh my God.
So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you.
Good to know.
Okay. So today we are actually going back to Kentucky for today's story. And it's a bit of a two-parter, but it all focuses on Old Louisville.
Okay.
And the Seelbachs.
That sounds familiar to me, but I don't know why.
Okay. I thought it would. So I'm going to start with a little bit of history, just a little overview of Old Louisville.
Okay.
Which is an actual name. I'm not just saying a part of Louisville that is old. There is a neighborhood called Old Louisville. Okay. So it's the third largest historic district in the U.S.
Oh, wow.
And it boasts the highest ratio of surviving Victorian architecture in the United States.
Oh, that's really cool.
It is. I really want to go on a walking tour.
I was just, yeah,
at the visitor center in Central Park. They have them every week.
Oh.
So I think we should go.
Yeah, I love the Victorian architecture. I mean,
it's gorgeous.
And we don't do anything like that anymore, which is really tragic.
And to have an entire neighborhood that is surviving Victorian, it's not just people who have made new buildings like that. It's also, I didn't write this down, but I remember one source talking about how it either it's one of the only remaining or it's the biggest remaining group of streets that are solely pedestrian streets.
Okay.
It was worded weird.
Yeah.
But like Victorian streets that are not made for any kind of vehicle. It's just for these socialites to walk down.
Love that. Their own little runway.
Yes. So we should definitely do that walking tour. So Old Louisville is about 48 blocks altogether. It is situated south of West Broadway Street and north of Cardinal Boulevard, or below downtown Louisville and above University of Louisville's main campus.
Okay.
So that's where it's situated. So originally it was called the Southern Extension, a suburb that started in 1870, and it hosted the Southern Exposition in modern St. James Court and Central Park from 1883 to 1887. This was 45 acres of space that had a 540,000 square foot building.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. And they welcomed visitors for a Southern World's Fair type exhibition.
Very interesting.
It's very. In the first 88 days of its operation, it received more than 770,000 visitors.
Back in 1880?
From 1883. That was 1883, and then it closed in 1887.
Wow.
They were originally only going to have it open for 100 days, but it was so popular that they kept it open that long.
It was like a Cats or a Phantom situation from the theater world. Like, we just got to keep going.
Yeah. It's bringing in the money and the tourists. Yeah. Let's keep going. Famously, the exhibition was the public unveiling of Thomas Edison's incandescent light bulb.
I didn't know that either.
Yep. He had, 15, 16 years earlier, he had stayed in Louisville for a few months. Mm-hmm. And so when they had the exposition, he was like, hey, I have this new technology I want to unveil.
The amount that I've learned for the first time right now, like I've lived in Kentucky for almost 41 years, and this is the first I'm hearing of any of this.
This is why we love the podcast.
Yes.
So because of this, it was also the first nighttime exposition.
Yeah, because they had the light bulb.
Yep. So in total, there was a contract with the power company of Louisville that the exposition had 5,000 incandescent bulbs. There was 4,600 lamps in the exhibition hall and 400 in an art gallery, which was, at that time, more than every light bulb installed in New York City.
Oh my God. Just in this one
massive building. Yes.
It's also weird to think about, like, just not being able to do stuff like that at night. But
yeah.
Sun's gone, y'all. We got to go home.
The room is too big. The candles aren't enough.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Imagine being just a regular person back in like 1884 and then walking into this place lit up. Like, literally nothing has ever been lit up on the planet before you.
Yeah.
Insane.
Well, and the amount, like how frequently that would have been happening back then, because all these new inventions were coming out. Like, you know, every other month you'd probably see something that was completely unimaginable. What a time to be alive.
What a time. Okay, so once the exposition closed, the land became prime real estate for wealthy socialites and was home to some of the most ostentatious and expensive Victorian mansions. And thus Old Louisville was born. So truly, we could do an entire podcast about Old Louisville. Yeah. It is insane, the amount of it. Basically, every building in it is haunted. So I want to start with a shout out. I got a lot of my research and I picked my story from another book at the library.
Love the library.
Who'd have thought? This one particularly was Phantoms of Old Louisville, Ghostly Tales from America's Most Haunted Neighborhood by David Domine. I believe is how you say his name. He's got an accent aigu at the end. He is, or at least was 10 years ago, a professor at Bellarmine.
Okay.
And he's written several books about Old Louisville because he lived there / possibly still does. But I wanted to shout him out because the books are great. He's done obviously a lot of research and a lot of like firsthand interviews with people who've lived there. So great resource, great book. David, if you ever hear this, I genuinely mean this with so much love. I greatly enjoyed it. You know that meme about people who write recipe blogs?
Yes.
Where like before you get to the recipe, you have to
hear the whole backstory
the whole
of
life
the family starting in the old country. Absolutely.
This book was written the opposite. Where like I think I picked up from context clues that he had written a cookbook at some point maybe. Definitely hosts regular dinner parties.
Yes.
But it was like in the middle of this story about this like haunted house, and then it'd be like, and I went to go meet this person for this interview, but the night before I had this dinner party, and then like a whole 2-paragraph of this insanely detailed menu. It sounded so good, but I was like, why are we doing this right now?
We'd love to come to your next dinner party. And
truly, it was a phenomenal menu.
We'd love to hear your process.
I would love some recipes. It sounded so good, but it was just very funny to get that in the middle of my ghost research.
So what I'm going to need is for you to return the book to the library, and we'll just go together, and then I can check the book out and read it because I'm very interested now.
Okay, deal. I think they had a couple of his books. Oh. So this will not be the last that we have heard of Old Louisville. I'll tell you right now. So I said earlier that we would be talking about the Seelbach brothers. And this name probably sounds familiar to you because Louisville has 2 very famous old hotels. That would be the Brown Hotel and the Seelbach.
Okay, I was thinking hotel, but then I was unsure.
So I'm going to start off talking about the Seelbach Hotel, and then I will talk about his home.
Okay.
So the Seelbach is technically not in Old Louisville. It is 2 blocks above the border.
Like downtown.
Yes, it is situated in the middle of downtown on 4th Street. And actually at the time, because remember I said that Old Louisville was considered like the southern expansion. It was just like an edge of town suburb. There were people who, when he said he was going to build his hotel right there, they were like, oh, that like nobody's going to travel that far for a hotel. You need to be in the center of town, blah, blah, blah. Well, joke's on you. 100 years later, it is the center of town.
Yeah.
And it is downtown and the best place for it.
4th Street, very popular, lots of bars and whatnot.
Yep. Okay.
As I recall.
Nah, you don't know anything about that.
I don't.
Okay. So Louis and Otto Seelbach were born in Frankenthal, Germany. Mm-hmm. Okay. At age 17, Louis immigrated to Louisville in 1869. He worked at the Galt House, and then in 1874, he opened the Seelbach Bar and Grill. So he's only been in America for 5 years. He's 22 years old. He opens up this European-style restaurant, becomes an instant success.
Absolute go-getter.
It was such a success that by 1880, it had moved to a larger location on Main Street. Mm-hmm. And then 5 years later, he decides that he wants to go into the hotel business. So he is able to bring his brother Otto to the U.S., and they founded the Seelbach Hotel Company, opening a 30-room hotel above the restaurant in 1891. Mm-hmm. But they had bigger plans.
On top of all that, like, what have I done with my life?
Yeah,
These guys aren't even 25.
They're already, like, at the top of the hosting industry of Louisville. No. They got to go bigger. So they want to build the first grand hotel of Louisville in the style of European hotels.
Yes.
So the Seelbach Hotel opened May 1st, 1905, just in time for the Kentucky Derby.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, it is 2 streets above Old Louisville in downtown. When it opened, opening day, May 1st, over 25,000 people visited just for the opening.
Oh my God.
And each of the 150 rooms hosted a dinner party.
Did he describe all the menus?
No, but I bet it was really good food.
150 separate dinner parties going on
in every single hotel room.
That gives me like a really weird anxiety, and I don't know why. Just the idea of it is like, ugh, no.
Yeah, boggling. Imagine the kitchen that night.
Yeah. Ugh. Or like you show up and you're like, oh, I'm here for the dinner party. Which one?
Give me a room number. Insane. Okay, it cost a historic $950,000
in 1905 money.
Which in 2025 money is just over $34,615,000.
Dang.
Mm-hmm. Just to build the 150 room hotel. Mm-hmm. Okay. When it had opened, they were already planning an expansion. And by
confidence.
Right? I'll tell you, these brothers knew what they were doing. Mm-hmm. By January 1st, 1907, less than 2 years later, they had opened the second phase, which raised the count to 500 rooms.
Oh my God. 500 rooms. Like, there's a lot of hotels now that don't have 500 rooms.
Mm-hmm. It's a big hotel. And beautiful, by the way. You have to look up pictures.
Oh, yeah.
It's gorgeous. Okay, so after Louis' death in 1925, the hotel sold and changed hands several times over the next 50 years, including once in 1956 as part of a $30 million deal, which was one of the biggest hotel deals at the time. Mm-hmm. It closed in 1975 after the owners announced bankruptcy, and in 1978, it was bought by actor Roger Davis and restored, reopening in 1982.
Okay.
So notable guests include Al Capone, Lucky Luciano, 9 different U.S. presidents.
Oh, wow.
Elvis Presley, Robin Williams, Julia Child, and the Rolling Stones.
Oh, wow.
Lots of celebs.
Yes.
F. Scott Fitzgerald frequently stayed there in 1918. And the Seelbach became the inspiration for the wedding venue for Daisy and Tom in The Great Gatsby.
I just reread that recently. Still did not care for it, much like high school. But I had forgotten that Louisville was in it at all.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Today, the downstairs breakfast room is called Gatsby's.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. So I mentioned Al Capone. Mm-hmm. He stayed there frequently and played card games in the Oak Room. Gambling was illegal.
I was going to say.
So it still hosts a mirror that he had installed to watch his back while playing. And when Louisville police would come to raid the hotel and arrest him, he would receive word and escape through a hidden door into a tiny tunnel in the wine cellar that would take him to the Rathskeller and then the sub-basement to escape.
I love a trap door. I love a secret door. Like, I love a pocket door in a hallway. Like,
I think we need to ask the Seelbach if we can have a little tour. I think they do private tours. I found some bloggers who had private tours.
Yeah.
We could swing that.
I feel like we're important enough.
Yeah. If we ask nicely.
Yeah. We're important enough and or nice enough.
I'd pay to spend a night there if I could get a tour to do that.
I mean, we could split a room. How much could it be? We'll look that up later.
Yeah. We could afford it.
Yeah.
Together.
Yeah.
Okay. So you might have heard me say the word Rathskeller.
I did, and I was just going to pretend that I knew what that was because you seemed super confident.
No, I had not explained it yet.
Okay.
And I did not expect you to know that German word.
Good.
Do you want to guess?
Rathskeller. I mean, it sounds just like rat cellar, like this is the cellar for the rats.
That's what some people say, and that is not correct. So it has nothing to do with rats. And it actually comes from the German word for city hall, which is Rathaus.
Okay.
I'm so sorry for my pronunciation to anybody who speaks German. I don't know. But a Rathskeller was the council's cellar, which was a bar in the basement of City Hall.
Oh, okay.
Where they would like discuss things, you know. So it is the basement of the hotel. It's one of the most famous rooms in it and the biggest draw. It is a big room. It's got a bar. It is decorated entirely of handmade rookwood pottery.
Oh.
It's the only surviving room in the world that is decorated this way.
Interesting.
It's gorgeous. And today it is also a ballroom, but in the Prohibition days, it operated as a speakeasy.
Yes. I also love speakeasies.
Okay, so now to the ghosts.
I also love ghosts.
So, sometimes people in the Rathskeller can hear the sounds of partying or 20s style flapper music.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Staff have reported seeing a woman in raggedy clothes in the cafe. And in 2004, a couple reported a man staring out the window in their room. As in they were in the room.
Yeah.
And this man is standing there.
That just kind of gave me a little chill.
Other reports since the 80s include seeing faces in mirrors, orbs and faces in photography and film, hearing disembodied voices or footsteps, and smelling perfume. There are noticeable temperature changes, lights will flicker on and off, and even reports of people's hair being touched or moved while waiting for the elevator.
I need to know if the disembodied voices have like that old 20s and 30s sound like
the transatlantic accent.
Yeah, either the transatlantic accent or like the gangster like, listen here, copper, like, because I think that would just, I don't know, make it the fact that I'm seeing a ghost a little less scary.
If it were silly.
Yeah.
Like you might be a gangster who killed people, but you sound funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to go and find out.
Yeah. If I'm ever a ghost, that's what I'll do, voices.
I'll hold you to that. My ghost will hold you to that.
Yes.
Okay, so the most famous ghost of the Seelbach Hotel is the Lady in Blue. Okay, she is a woman with long dark hair wearing a blue chiffon dress and often crying or seeming upset. She appears near the third elevator, often at the 10th or ground floor, before disappearing. Though some have reported seeing her enter the elevator at the ground floor, even though the doors haven't opened. So she just floats through them.
Straight through the wall, ghost style.
The only other sign she leaves behind is the scent of lilac perfume. So she was spotted in 1987 by a barman employee after the hotel reopened. And there's 2 different stories behind who she could be. Okay, so the popular rumor is that she is the ghost of Patricia Wilson.
Okay.
In 1936, the Wilsons, this married couple, they had separated, but they wanted to try to reconcile. So they chose to meet at the Seelbach as their meeting place, in a room on the 10th floor.
Okay.
So witnesses described seeing Mrs. Wilson wearing a blue dress that day. Her husband did not appear, and at first she was upset that he had gone back on their plans to reconcile. But then she received word that he had actually been killed in a car accident on the way to the hotel.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So devastated, she fell down the third elevator shaft, which had been left open for repair. Though it's not clear whether she did it on purpose or was distracted by her grief. Staff found her body several days later on top of a service lift.
Ugh.
And now she haunts the hotel, waiting to meet her estranged husband.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah. Now, Larry Johnson, who is a hotel historian and employee of over 40 years, has a different story.
Oh, okay.
He tracked her down as Pearl Wilson, née Elliott, who moved to Kentucky with her first husband, Charles Wilson, before divorcing. She became a lady of the night.
Ooh.
And eventually entangled with Lieutenant Governor Henry Denhart. When Denhart's fiancé discovered the affair, they fought, and 2 witnesses reported seeing him beat a woman in the hotel.
Oh.
He was investigated but never charged with her murder. But later, he was charged with his fiancé's murder and killed by her brothers while out on bond.
Dang.
Yeah. So, not sure how Miss Wilson met her death, but it's one of those 2 ways.
Yeah.
And there's evidence for both.
Yeah.
So that's all I have on the Seelbach Hotel.
Okay.
But I also have some stuff on the Seelbach Parish House, which is in Old Louisville. Okay. So, like I mentioned, Louis Seelbach. So this is before he gets his brother Otto to immigrate.
Okay.
So in 1888, he hired the architects, I love their name, Cobb and Dodd.
That just looks good on a business card.
Yes,
it does.
Which was the same firm responsible for designing the Seelbach Hotel and the new Capitol building in Frankfurt.
Which is gorgeous.
Yeah, the big domed Capitol building. They designed that. Same guys who did the Seelbach.
Well done, guys.
Yep. So they built his house at 926 South 6th Street, and it is a modified Richardsonian Romanesque home. The front door is very distinct because the opening to it of the kind of porch sort of is, how do I describe this? It's keyhole shaped, where it's like you've got your regular, on the ground part, you've got your regular doorway up a couple feet, but then the whole entire top part of it is just a big circle shape.
Okay, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
It's really cool.
That's fun.
So it's a beautiful building. Okay. So that was 1888. And then in 1919, Dr. Charles Parrish Sr. purchased the home. Now, Dr. Charles Parrish Sr. was born a slave in Lexington and then moved to Louisville to attend school after emancipation, and eventually became president of Simmons University from 1918 to 1931.
Nice.
Simmons University was a all-black school.
Yes.
His son, Dr. Charles Parrish Jr., lived with his family in the home until 1969. The University of Louisville integrated in 1950, and in 1951, he became the first black professor at a previously all-white Southern school.
That's awesome.
And in 1959, he became the first black department head. Love that for him.
Yes.
So eventually, the home was converted into apartments, often used by university students. And now we get into the ghosts.
Yay!
So previous renters have shared stories of the kitchen being cleaned and polished and going so far as having their pantry rearranged.
Was it me?
One renter mentioned that, she was like, I wasn't messy, but she never organized her cabinets. And then she walks in one day and it's like all the big boxes are put in the back and all the little cans in the front and just everything is moved.
That could very easily be me, but that was going to be my thought of like a little experiment. Like, I'm going to keep putting it back in the wrong place and see, if it's
just
pissing
you
me.
or as a ghost?
No, like me, if I'm the apartment owner and I see this happening to me, like,
test the ghost?
yes, just a little experiment.
Okay, so one renter, Tara Singleton, returned home from classes to her kitchen rearranged.
Yes.
The next morning, she reported coming out from her morning shower to her bed perfectly made. Like a hotel worker had done it. The corners were folded and tucked, and the top corner turned down.
And a mint on the pillow.
She literally said the only thing missing was a chocolate on the pillow.
You know, I feel like you don't hear enough about a helpful ghost.
Right?
And I love that.
Mm-hmm. We need more of that energy in the world.
Yes, we do. Come on, ghosts, help us out.
But also, like, who wants to spend their afterlife cleaning up after people?
I mean, maybe certain things, you know, if you really enjoy doing them.
Yeah, if you dedicated your life to running a hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, if you were like a server at a restaurant, you just automatically kind of bust your table when you finish eating it.
Well, and I think it's pretty clear that the brothers had great pride in their work.
Oh, yeah.
So it makes total sense that this guy's ghost is keeping his house clean and orderly.
Yeah. And I presume ghosts don't need to sleep. They have a lot of time.
Yep.
So why not make a bed, rearrange a pantry?
Help someone out.
Yeah. They know what it's like to be a person. It's hard.
Yeah. And that was another thing, you know, I read so much about the history of Old Louisville, and part of the decline of it with industrialization and more jobs coming in to working class America that paid higher wages was that fewer people wanted to work as like servants in residential homes. And these Victorian mansions were made to be run by multiple servants.
Yes.
So even if it's been converted into a smaller apartment, it's still a big house to take care of when you're a busy college student.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
So she comes out from the shower. Her bed is made. She's like, okay, that's weird. An hour later, she is standing in her room facing her bed, and she sees the clear outline in the mattress sink down like someone had just sat on the edge of the bed.
Oh, no.
So she ran out, but it happened several more times during her stay there.
See now, ghost. That part's unacceptable. At minimum, please do a silly voice.
Be like, I cleaned your kitchen for you.
Yeah.
So another story is from Charmaine Willis. Okay. She was family friends with the Parishes. Okay, so she remembers one time as a young woman, she's preparing for a holiday celebration with them. And she had gone to the store to get some last-minute groceries. But while she was gone, one of the children fell and hurt his arm. So everyone goes to take him to the emergency room. Mm-hmm. And in the hubbub, nobody left her a note.
Okay.
This is pre-phones,
yes.
Right? So she returns to find the house completely empty, no car in the driveway. So she just figures something came up and starts putting away the groceries. From the corner of her eye, she sees a black shadowed figure move down the hallway across the kitchen door. So she goes to investigate, thinking that it was a family member who returned. So she goes out to the front of the house. She sees no car in the driveway. So she's like, nobody came back. Yeah. So she investigated upstairs. Nothing. Nobody else in the house. So she returns to the kitchen to find every single cabinet and pantry door open, with every item of food piled onto the kitchen table. Even the fridge and freezer had been opened and emptied.
What the hell?
It's like she interrupted them organizing.
Oh my God.
So she freaks out. She panics, but she doesn't think anybody would believe her. So she rushes to put everything back before the family gets back.
Oh.
And she didn't speak to anybody about it for years.
Oh, poor thing.
I just imagine like she doesn't live there, right? So she comes and she brings in this bag of groceries and she's like, oh, I'll just put them where I think they go.
Yeah.
And then the ghost watching this being like, that's not where that goes. You've messed up the system. We have to redo it all.
Well, and then I think about like her panic to put everything away while she's terrified.
Yes.
But she's like, no, I got to put this away. I know I'm scared, but these cans have to be put up.
Don't blame me. Okay, so there are also reports of smelling strong cooking from the kitchen, including the scent of pork chops and the distinct odor of sauerkraut being made.
Neither of those is a smell I care for.
But if you're German.
Yeah, very German.
So several paranormal investigations have been conducted on the home and have picked up EVP recordings in German.
Oh.
EMF detectors have reacted to the downstairs hallway and kitchen in particular. Thermometers have registered temperature changes of up to 30 degrees in the hall and kitchen, even in the height of summer.
Wow.
Yeah, which, like, Kentucky summer
hot and humid.
The
like,
humidity will get you.
And it regularly does.
Yeah. So in this Victorian home, I'm sure the AC is not great.
Yeah. Oh, my, like, I'd want to pass out.
Yeah. So Dr. Parrish Jr., right, he was a professor of sociology and heavily involved in the civil rights movements, especially in the 60s.
Uh-huh.
So the Seelbach Parish House was regularly used to host meetings, discussions, and even planning for sit-ins and protests.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. So our final story comes from Mary Pruitt, who was a student of Dr. Parrish Jr.'s in the 60s. And she described an experience she once had in the home after a meeting with her peers. She stepped out to use the restroom, and when she entered the hall after finishing, she was passed by a white man in, quote, old-time clothing. She only saw him from the back as he went down the hall and entered the kitchen.
Uh-huh.
But he wore black pants, a black vest, and a white shirt with sleeves rolled up with garters.
Yeah, not modern clothing.
Yeah, not anything anybody was wearing in the 60s.
Yeah, no.
So she goes back into the front dining room where everyone else is, and in a lull during the conversation, she asked if anyone knew if Dr. Parrish had an employee in the house. Everyone answered in the negative, and when they asked her to explain herself, everyone quieted down to listen to what she would say, but before she could speak, everyone heard clear, heavy footsteps from the back of the house down the hall to the front where they were.
Oh my gosh.
But nobody entered the room, so she admitted to seeing a strange man from another time, and a boy jumped up to look in the hallway, but nobody was there. So she shared in detail what she had seen, and the other students told her it was just old man Seelbach, who hadn't left the home he built. Several others said they had seen him before, and it wouldn't be the last time.
I feel like that is the kind of thing that you need to tell someone before they come into your home. By the way,
don't mind the old white man who lives here, who
old
is
man
dead.
Seelbach. He just roams around from time to time, but he's harmless.
He just hangs out in the kitchen. Don't mind him.
Yeah. Like I feel entitled to that information.
See, and that's where your entitlement will get you. So, unfortunately, Caroline is not here today, but I'm going to mark today as our first real submission.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this story comes from Cap, who is a friend from my mobile game that I mentioned that Irish also plays.
Yes. Incredible.
Take a sip. And so I was telling them about the podcast, and so we got on the subject of ghosts, obviously. And Cap did not have an experience himself, but his grandfather dictated a book.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And it is it's technically an autobiography, right? And it's available on one of those like ancestry websites,
yeah,
you know? And I just think it's really cool that he has a
yeah.
book of stories from his grandfather.
That is cool.
And he's from Kentucky.
All right.
And because it's dictated, it's in that really fun, I don't know, it's just written in a really fun, like old country way. You'll see when I read it, but I love it so much. So there's 2 little ghost stories in here that he gave me permission to share.
Nice.
So these come from Cap's grandfather, Cecil Porter. Okay. So this first one, he is describing how their house in the kitchen was set up and stuff. And so he talks about that for a bit, and then he gets to the dining room, and I'm going to start reading there.
Okay.
There was a table and 4 chairs with a long bench next to the wall. The bench is where the kids sat to eat their meals. There was a lot of good time spent at that table, not only at mealtime, but at family time as well. It's Sorry, it's so hard not to get into a country accent when you read this cadence. Sorry.
Feel free to do a voice.
It's going to be forced, though, and I can't. Ooh, okay. In the other end of the kitchen was a large buffet. The reason that I mention the buffet is there is a story that goes with it. Cecil's grandfather had an old red rooster that he had raised from a baby chick. He was very fond of his red rooster. Aww. He happened to be gone one time when Cecil's father came home for the weekend. Everyone was sitting around in the yard on Saturday evening, and someone said they would like to have chicken and dumplings for supper. Cecil's dad said, "I think I'll kill the old red rooster and have him for supper." So he did.
No.
It was just a short time after dark when the chicken and dumplings got done, and everyone was just sitting down to eat, when all at once there was a noise back on the buffet. It sounded just like the old red rooster clucking to a bunch of hens.
You're damn right it did.
Everybody got up and searched and rattled every dish and everything else on the buffet, trying to make the same sound they had all heard, but no one could find anything that would repeat the sound. I guess that it was just the ghost of the old red rooster trying to get even with him. Cecil's grandfather wasn't too happy to find that his old red rooster had succumbed to the cooking pot when he came home.
Yeah. Rude.
Mm-hmm. And then, so I said something about that too, and then Cap was like, yeah, he never ate chicken for the rest of his life because of that.
Respect. Honestly,
Uh-huh.
I hope, and I love chicken and dumplings, I hope that tasted terrible.
Imagine a rooster's death being so traumatic, it has to come back and haunt you.
Yeah. Because I feel like that rooster clearly knew I am a pet.
Yeah, the bond he shared with Cecil.
Yeah.
He knew.
I'm not for eating.
You're right.
Unacceptable. I hope that ghost rooster like crowed extra early just around that guy. Like
around Cecil's grandfather.
Yeah.
Incredible. I hope Cecil met the rooster at the pearly gates.
Oh.
Wouldn't that be cute?
They're hanging out now.
Yeah.
And they just, I was going to say hold hands, but only one has a hand. But
No, he rides on his shoulder. You've seen like chickens on people's shoulders.
Yeah. Love it.
Okay. So story number 2. Creepy. Okay.
Okay.
This is very different than a haunted chicken. Okay. Okay.
I've said that so many times it's become meaningless.
Okay. Sometimes on Saturday night, some of the neighbors would come to visit. Usually, they would sit around the big kitchen table and play cards. They liked to play a game called Authors or Gin Rummy. Sometimes they would just sit around the big table and talk of old times or about the neighbors or anything someone thought of that was interesting. Sooner or later, someone would mention the knocking spirit. To them, raising the knocking spirit was like some people play with the Ouija board.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever heard of a knocking spirit?
It's like ringing a bell to me.
It was like very early spiritualism and there's like multiple stories of like children being able to communicate, and a lot of them wound up being like hoaxes or whatever. Yeah. But it was like, ghost, if you can hear me, knock for 2.
Yeah.
But it would like be them under the table or whatever, you know? Yeah, so to them, raising the knocking spirit was like some people play with the Ouija board. A group of people would gather around a table, placing their hands on the table, palms down. Then they would concentrate on what someone was saying to the spirit. Someone would ask the spirit a question, telling it to answer by knocking on the floor with one of the table legs. They would say for it to knock once for no or twice for yes. They would have to spend a long time talking to the spirit before it would do anything. As long as everyone at the table believed that it could answer questions, it would work quicker. After it got to answering questions, it would answer quicker. The table they used was a solid oak table that was very heavy and well constructed. It had a big round center post that was about 12 inches through, with 4 curved legs coming out and down from it to the floor. Sometimes they would have someone to sit under the edge of the table to watch and make sure no one was using their knees to help raise the table and let it fall to make the noise. Cecil has sat under the table a lot. Ooh. He swears no one helps raise the table.
Okay.
Everyone thinks that it is a bad spirit instead of a good spirit because it will lie to you. If everyone around the table knows that something is true, the table will tell the truth. If everyone around the table isn't sure of the answer, it will lie about it. If someone knows that something has already happened, it will tell the truth. If the question is about something to happen in the future, chances are it will lie to you about it. Uncle Went Porter had fooled with the knocking spirit so much he had got tired of it. He said he wasn't going to raise it anymore. It didn't seem to like that one bit. It would knock on the headboard of his bed every night so much that he couldn't get any sleep until he would fool with it for a while.
Oh, jeez.
A man by the name of George Egan's would ride an old mule by the house every Sunday morning on the way to church. This one Saturday night, they asked the knocking spirit if it would keep George up all night and not let him get any sleep. Which is so mean.
Yeah.
It said that it would. All the people just couldn't hardly wait to see George coming up the road on the old mule. They wanted to know if he was able to get any sleep Saturday night. When George came by, they yelled for him to stop and get a drink of water so they could find out how he slept. George always thought about what you asked him for a while before he would answer you. Which is such an old Southern man thing to do. I love that. But when they asked him if he got any sleep last night, he was very quick to answer. He said, "You know what happened last night? I went to bed very early and went to sleep. But about 10 o'clock, all the covers slid off the bed, and I got so cold that I woke up. I got the covers back on the bed and tried to go back to sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, something would pull the covers off me. I tried to hold on to them, but I couldn't hold them. They would go off in the floor and then slide over into the corner.
As covers do."
It seemed like they were doing it all by themselves. I had to get up and build the fire and put all my clothes back on to get my teeth from chattering.
Ooh.
I didn't get any more sleep at all. This was the funniest thing that they had ever heard. They just couldn't help but to laugh while he was telling about it. Which is so mean.
Yeah.
This poor old man.
I like his attitude of like, well, these covers just kept slipping off the bed.
Gotta put my jammies back on. My long johns.
I got extra slippery covers.
Okay. The spirit got so strong that Grandma made them quit using the kitchen table because they were tearing the legs off of it.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it gets worse.
Oh no.
They decided to go back on top of the hill and build a special table just to raise the spirit with, which I'm sure has no lasting implications behind the strength of intent when you're dealing with any kind of spiritual energy. But whatever. There was an old barn back there so they could have a dry place to fool with the spirit. They made this big table out of 2x12s with 4x4 legs. Which,
that's a big table.
If people don't know anything about lumber, that's some thick lumber, okay? That's heavy.
I've learned most of what I know about lumber from you. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually able to envision some of these pieces of wood.
Yeah, if that board is more than 6 feet, then if they're kids doing this, you need 2 or 3 kids to lift that board. Yeah, that's some heavy scrap wood that they have found.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, in addition, says they put in a lot of cross bracing to help make it strong. Okay, so it's even heavier.
Yeah.
This is just a big-ass table, okay? On the second night that they raised the spirit, someone made it mad, and it shoved them back against the wall and pinned them, hurting them pretty bad.
Yeah.
Then it bounced itself up and down and then into a wall, tearing itself apart.
The spirit tore itself apart?
No, the table.
Oh, okay. I was like, how did they know?
No, the spirit moved the table to pushed somebody against the wall. Like pinned somebody against the wall. And then the table flung around the barn until it broke into pieces.
Oh, unacceptable.
Uh-huh. Like this is a table that would take a couple grown men to pick up.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just flying around the room.
Yep. The one that had made it mad fell over into a horse stall, getting out of the way. Everyone said that if he hadn't fell into the stall, the table might have killed him. Most of them didn't go back on that hill anymore.
Yeah.
Their big table was completely torn apart. They didn't put it back together anymore. They were afraid someone would get hurt if they continued to mess with the knocking spirit.
And they never used tables again.
Yeah.
TV trays only.
I mean, it's almost like the more you interact with something, the more power you're giving it.
I mean, now let's not get crazy.
But yeah, that is Cecil Porter's story.
Ooh, that I'm just picturing creepy? The table. Yeah.
And I feel like it's so rare that you get stories of something like truly massive being moved.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing to be like, oh, this like cutlery drawer of knives flew across the room, you know, in like a poltergeist story. But like an over 100-pound table being flung around and shattering.
Yeah, that's no slippery cover. That is quite an undertaking.
Yeah.
A lot of this reinforces my like evangelical Christian side of my upbringing that was always so quick to warn you against doing anything like this, because they're like, oh, it opens a door, it opens a portal, and you know, then the spirits are gonna mess with you. Like yeah.
They're not wrong.
Yeah.
Just got to handle it right. And calling it fooling with the spirit, not a good first step. But that's all I got for today. And another Kentucky story.
Well, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Well, thank you for joining.
Like I said, happy to be here.
Being a captive audience.
I like just sitting and having a story told to me.
And hey, this is my shortest story so far, I think. I cut way back on the history, but I read so much about Old Louisville, so you guys will definitely be getting another story from there at some point.
She didn't put that work in for nothing.
Nah.
But we got to spread it out.
We'll wait until it gets warmer. We'll take a walking tour, and I'll pick the most interesting house on the tour.
That's a good idea.
That's what we will do.
And maybe we'll like get some fresh info on the tour.
That's what I'm thinking.
Great minds think alike.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us. As always, we are on social media at egags podcast or our website, www.egagspodcast.com. That's EGAGS podcast. We have an email that you can find us at egagspodcast@gmail.com. And feel free to reach out with any of your own unexplainable experiences, especially if you would like them shared on the podcast.
Yes.
So until next time, thank you very much for listening. And this is Everybody's Got a Ghost Story.
What's yours?